we are finally at the point where Secret Invasion has released. And it released, I want to say this morning. And like I said, I would do the stream on the day it released, and it's Wednesday. So give me a few moments to move things around and bring up the images like I used to use for Mandalorian, but this time there'll be Secret Invasion images so we can start the discussion. All right, you should be able to see the Secret Invasion image on screen. All right, so yeah, so if you most likely have seen this scene before, it was when they released the website and it said, look at the it was a password. It was a password, and you're supposed to get into Secret Invasion, and it would show you a 5 minute scene. So that's what ends up being this 5 minute scene. Uh, this guy, I believe his name was Agent Prescott. Someone correct me on that if I'm wrong. But his voice, it really reminded me of Eddie Thawne from the Flash series, where Grant Gustin played the Flash. This guy who plays Agent Prescott sounds like Eddie Thawne. And then we end up finding out that there's two people during the previous scene on the discussion, Adrian Prescott and I forgot what his name was, but he was in a Black Panther one and also in Wakanda Forever, Agent Ross. So the Agent Ross guy ends up being a scroll. No, sorry, hold up. No, he walks out after taking down Agent Prescott, and he's being chased down by a guy, and then it turns out that the guy that was chasing him down and this guy who claims to be Agent Ross was also a scroll, which means that the guy. Wait, did I say that correctly? Yeah, it turns out both are squirrels. And that's when like that's during like the chase scene, and then you Agent Hill is like Talos, and then we get a intro. Now here's the thing about this intro. Throughout the day, there have been multiple sites that are saying that this intro that was used for Secret Invasion used AI technology. That this was not actually made by the artist that Marvel Studios hires. This was made by some guy who typed in a bunch of stuff into an AI algorithm and it released this. After that point, all he did was put the credits layer above the AI layer. Anyway, here you go. Here's the Secret Invasion intro. That could be done in an hour or two. And Marvel's like, just like, oh, we'll just pay one guy rather than an entire art team that they have been relying on for years. It is not a good thing. AI technology has been a very controversial thing. So I do not understand why Marvel made this move. And a lot of the Marvel community, the fan base, are angry about this. The use of AI technology being used in the shows. That's why the writer strike is happening. The writers do not want there to be AI used for writing. Like, that puts them out of a job if the next 10 Marvel movies is just AI written. And it's like, okay, so like the writers just lost those 10 years of a job. They got to go somewhere else. And what happens if AI writing is an all around thing and there's no more human writers? That's going to become an even bigger issue. The only people that are happy about the fact that AI was used is the people behind Marvel. The artists that used to work for Marvel, they're angry. The fans are angry about this. I don't know what Marvel was thinking. So we get you saw this in the trailer of Secret Invasion, and it's like the 1900s alien movies where you see a beam and then a blurry figure. And here we have Nick Fury, and you see the beam alien style, but what's being beamed down is a like a like a room, like a container, similar to what was the ship in Agents of Shield that had that container that could be dropped out, and they said it could contain the Hulk. And then we also saw the container in the helicarrier. So it's that type of container, except it's got two seats, and it gets beamed down. So that's what you see there. And let me go to the next image. So now I have not seen the movie Captain Marvel, so I don't know if this Talos guy in the Fury, there's something happened. But this scene right here felt odd. Like, what's with the head touching? Because like they're not family. Obviously, one's a scroll and Nick Fury's a human. So am I missing something? Because this just seems so odd. So you saw this little pad You saw this little pad used by Nick Fury, and it shows you that even though Nick Fury is essentially being like very secretive on everywhere he's been ever since the situation with Captain America the Winter Soldier, he somehow still is able to get his hands on technology. He's got something that's the size of a phone that's able to show him a bunch of classified information like this. And later you see him in the episode, you see him have Stark style glasses. So you will, I guess, I don't know what else technology is they might have. I think it might have been just those two things. Oh, and we get the next, like one of the next scenes, and it's the return of Rhodey. Last time we saw Rhodey was in Captain America. No, sorry, Captain America. Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So Rhodey, at this point, I do not know if he still actually works for the Air Force, but Rhodey is now in a position where he's like the right hand man, as the actor claimed, the right hand man to the president. The president is the white haired guy that's next to him with the white and black striped tie, and back there is just the bodyguards that the president has. And Rhodey is informing him that Nick Fury has left the Saber base. Remember, Saber is a sword similar to Shield. And the president mentions that the government had an aerospace contract with the Saber base. Yeah, that like really felt. It's really a little confusing, and it's even confusing for me. So Nick Fury is being very secretive regarding the government, but at the same time, his base has a contract with the government. Which is it? Is he secretive because the government's like after him and stuff? Has been after him since Captain America Winter Soldier? Like, how can you have a contract and be on the run at the same time? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. Maybe someone in the comment section can figure it out. But right now, I just do not know how that even works. But Rhodey, as you see from the trailer, he'll continue being throughout the series, and I'm sure you guys already knew about this, but at the very end of Secret Invasion, there is supposed to be something that leads to Armor Wars. And we don't know what that is, but yeah, it's Rhodey's obviously going to be involved. Or he's going to be in the final episode of Secret Invasion, and we know he has that restaurant scene that was shown in the trailer. So he's going to play some part in this. And where, like one of the next scenes, you see this character. And at first we're like, okay, who are these random people that just took Nick Fury? And it turns out to be this group that actress Olivia Colman, her character Sonia, a group that she appears to be running. One moment. All right, so Sonia is running this group, and that's where Nick Fury has gone, and he has a back and forth conversation with her, and I don't know how much in this 6 episode season or series Sonya is gonna be. And in this exact same scene, you see Nick Fury. He places a like a what do you call contact lenses on the owl. Now, I do not know. I do not remember if Nick Fury in the MCU has used like contact lenses like that. So like we know three things. He's got the contact lens camera. He's got the phone sized device, and he's got the head up display glasses. It seems like it's a bunch of things that you can just like carry on them without having like a tactical belt where everything's stored. It's just like the phone device that can be put in the pocket. The glasses, I mean, they're easy to store on you, and the contact lenses. But he also probably had that in his like pocket too. So this is obviously used later when he spies on what Sonya was saying to that one guy. And Sonya, unless I'm wrong, but I think she said Thanos snap. And back in what was it, Spider-Man Far From Home, they refer to it as the blip. So I'm glad they're like interchanging between the two rather than sticking to the blip. So she points out that Fury doesn't really understand this scroll situation that he's in. And this becomes like a running theme throughout the episode. Like, can Fury actually handle this situation on his own? And we see, well, probably saw in the promotional material, the actress Emilia Clarke, her character, I think, she said Gaia? I'm not someone correct me on that if I'm wrong. I think her character's name was Gaia. And that's the first introduction to her. And I'm assuming based on the promotional material that she actually is in like most, if not the entire 6 episodes. So we encounter another scroll and by the name of Beto. Beto? I think that's his name. But this military fence location, it's not like a just like a random military base. It ends up being the location of the villain scroll location. They called it New Skrullox. Now I don't know if their home planet is called Skrullox. And this is an image of the Skrullox, and she mentions that there's over 500 of the scrolls, and sure at the beginning thing they said there aren't enough scrolls to like affect governments and stuff, but 500 of them actually can. So we had this scene. I guess I could zoom in. So or so that looks when it gets made out of plastic and stuff. That's obvious. Yeah, you guys probably can't see that. So that's scroll food. Again, I have not seen Captain Marvel, so I do not know if they already showed scroll food. But apparently, the guys, I think the guys like it's been years since he's 8 or like some long time. And Gaia and her and Gaia and these new scrolls are essentially using this manipulation to trick other scrolls into joining them. Like, hey, look, you haven't ate actual scroll food. Here you go, scroll food. And like, it's easy way to trick them because this scroll, what was his name? Vito, he misses the food, the normal scroll food. So he got easily tricked. And he joins them. Here's an image of scrolls. There's a scroll here. I'm gonna zoom in. It looks like a car wheel that they attach to the wagon, and the scroll is pushing. And like when he turns it right, this guy will like make pretend that push it so he turns that direction. But you see, there are a bunch of scrolls here, and that goes back to how I mentioned there are 500 of them. Now, once again, I'm not seeing Captain Marvel, so maybe they showed these devices before. But this guy right here, he's a human, and this right here is a scroll. So, well, like the scroll just shapeshifted into the person just by looking at them, but they couldn't copy the memories. So they hooked them into this. They hooked the human who's in the Hawaiian shirt into this machine, and then the scroll touched him. And in a matter of seconds, he got all the memories. Again, maybe they showed this in the Captain Marvel movie, but that's how that's what that machine is. And I mean, I guess you can just assume it's advanced scroll tech. I don't really know why he was able to get the memories in a matter of seconds. So I don't really know what to say in regards to that. So that scroll tells Gaia to use the cash to go to. By the way, that guy right there is also scroll. So although that like right there might actually be one of the camera crew that was just unnoticed. That could be the case. So this scroll, I don't think his name was ever said, but gives her the cash and says, "Bring it to a guy who will bring you like scroll weapons, like the explosive kind." And that's what happens in that scene. So that leads like essentially the plot of the episode, or like leading to the climax. Now, I mean, I've said this multiple times throughout this stream. I haven't seen Captain Marvel, but Skrulls have super strength, or like, is this actually not classified as super strength, but they're just stronger than humans? Because later in the episode, we do see fights between a human and a Skrull, and it doesn't seem like the human Skrull can just, Superman style and take down a human when actually trying and stuff. Uh, we see Charles fight this Skrull. I don't think his name was ever mentioned too, but he tells he says he said like no when the crew asks like, do you want me to interfere? And Talos says no. And obviously like towards the end of the fight, Talos is losing and Nick Fury opens fire. And Talos goes, I said no. Because Talos, even though the scroll new Skrullox people, new scrolls, wow, that's hard to say. Even though they're the enemy, they're still scrolls. And like he doesn't want to actually fight any scrolls in general. He doesn't want any scrolls to be killed. So that's why he was upset with Nick Fury that like Nick Fury opened fire. So we actually have another fight scene. So yeah, this is what I was mentioning earlier, where there doesn't seem to be a huge difference in strength. So Maria Hill's character fights Gaia, and not sure. I think this was just the underground location and not actually subway. Although I might have heard like subway noises in the actual scene. So Chalice tells Gaia that the Skrulls are the ones that killed her mom. Now I forget which movie did this happen in, or was it like an off-screen thing? I really don't remember when or where this happened. All right. Yeah. So this becomes like I guess they're doing the back into the Winter Soldier thing. Hold on one moment. Okay. So they're doing the Falcon and Winter Soldier thing where they want you to sympathize with the villain girl because they had that Carly was in Falcon Winter Soldier, the girl named Carly. They wanted you to like sympathize for her. I guess they're doing it again, and this time in a Secret Invasion. So like one of the next scenes you see you can if I'm going too fast, I guess someone in the comments tell me that like next stream go slower. I don't really know if I'm going too fast or too slow. But we get a bar scene and Maria Hill and Nick Fury talk about how he's been gone for years. And like Nick Fury says he had a crisis of faith after the Thanos snap. And I think he or she referred to it as the blip. So they are interchanging the names Thanos snap, blip. Uh and like honestly like their characterization, their shield, they're like always secretive to themselves as well. And hold on one more. All right, where was I? So yeah, like they're like very secretive of each other, but like it's obvious that Maria Hill is worried about Nick Fury, and Nick Fury is aware that Maria Hill is worried about him. So crisis of faith. Like Nick Fury actually will. I'll show you that like the next image when you continue this. So this scene where he remembers how he got Thanos snapped back in Infinity War. Nick Fury is the secretive guy who's always steps ahead of everyone. He has been that for since Iron Man 1. And the Thanos snap, it was most likely not only the first time, but the biggest time where Nick Fury was not steps ahead of everyone. He was just as behind as everyone else. And all that weight is having an emotional impact on him. And I think this will essentially be the journey. Like this will be the journey Nick Fury has throughout the series, where he's supposed to he's gonna like defeat the Skrull threat and like realize that like it's still possible to be like steps ahead of everyone or keep up. And if you we're in what, Marvel Phase 4 or 5. Everything after Avengers Endgame has always been centered around the idea of sadness, and even now with Secret Invasion, we still see that with, but it's with a character we've never actually seen sad up until now. So that's the situation going on with Nick Fury. We get there's the taxi scene between Talos and Gaia, and here uh Gaia gives them the information, but I think this is gonna start becoming a situation where she may like double cross him. She may be like sometimes going like, "Oh, I'm helping the Fury side," but then there'll be situations where she helps the new Skrullex side, and it becomes this back and forth. It's gonna become back and forth scene like, which side is she on? And they're gonna use like that throughout the series or season. But she tells them what the big event is that the new Skrullex are planning in Moscow. She gives them all this information. And I mentioned earlier about the glasses, and the glasses that they look at the infrared. But here's the thing about infrared. Like, why is it that infrared is only showing just the X mark? Because the thing about infrared glasses, they show you like the heat signature, all the heat signatures that are showing. The water should be is it's like blue or yellow. And there should be areas that are red and maybe orange too. But in this scene, everything's like so clear except for these X's. And you could say, okay, here's Jenny. It's glasses are specifically like target locked to show infrared signature on Gaia and the backpacks. But here's the thing, let's zoom in. This square, why don't I see the infrared on everything that's within this square? Why is it clear and just the X's aren't infrared showing? It's a small nitpick that I have, but like, yeah, that's where this scene doesn't really make sense. That's just like specifically focused on that. I'm sure the audience can tell. Oh, there's the X marks. Okay, that's what I'm supposed to be focused on, especially when you have this target lock box. But this is not how. It's just thermal tracking right there. That's just not how infrared would look. And we're almost done. So the whole tracking of backpacks ends up happening, and they end up being fakes. The villain was did I mention the villain? Gravik, Gravik. So this is the villain Gravik, and I don't know how, but like, how did he know that Gaia would betray them? And he already had the devices planted around the city, so the ones that Gaia had in the backpack are fake. So that's what ends up happening. But up to getting to this point where you see in the image. So Nick Fury. So in earlier when you saw Nick Fury and he said, "Oh, I want to take a walk," and he takes the walk. You see this little girl playing with a ball. You see a bunch of. You see a lady walking around. There's a scene at the bench, where it's a lady and like this guy, and it turns out the entire time Like it was Gravik. Gravik was spying on Nick Fury this entire time. At least that's what I think that the scene was implying. And regarding the bench, if that was Gravik, was the other person a scroll? I mean, if you think about it, that's like a Gravik obviously has no love interest. So what was that weird situation going on there? I don't, I don't really know what happened there. But yeah, the scene really shows you that this series is the spy espionage stuff that the actors have been saying. You really don't know who that you see earlier in the episode, and they could be a scroll. You could be thinking, okay, I guess, oh, this is another scroll situation, and then turns out the entire episode, no, you were wrong. So there's gonna be a lot of uh, being careful that's gonna happen throughout the series. But the final scene, let's talk about the final scene. And yes, this live stream is gonna be shorter than uh, my usual 1 hour streams because we're at like a 35-minute mark. So, yep, Gravik ship shifts into a Nick Fury and open fires on Maria Hill. And Maria Hill has been here since Avengers 1. And yep, yeah, so this is where her character's journey ends. And yeah, they even like spend a while zooming the camera from above, and everybody's like waiting. Oh, turn it to scroll, turn it to scroll, turn it to scroll, and she does not turn it to scroll because this is the real Maria Hill. The situation just began. Maria Hill told him earlier, "Keep your footing, or someone's gonna get hurt." And it ends up being Maria Hill, and it's the biggest kind of get hurt. Nick Fury just failed the mission that was in the episode, and it cost him like really the one person he trusted the most. And Nick Fury does not trust a lot of people. Now it's just Nick Fury, Talos up against over 500 scrolls in a situation where Nick Fury's like 100 steps behind. 5 years within a situation had a heavy emotional weight on Nick Fury. And this is even going to have a bigger, heavier weight. Nick Fury, in the next episode, he's most likely not going to know what to do. Or he's going to try to act like he knows what he's doing, but he's not. So this is, I don't know what Nick Fury is going to do. But really, that's all I have in terms of images and my notes regarding the episode, as well as my thoughts. If you like the episode, let me know down in the comments. If you like my stream, let me know down in the comments. And yeah, to anyone who either has watched this live when it was on Twitch or will watch it when it's uploaded to YouTube, thanks for watching. Have a good day.